often do you find yourself getting lost in your thoughts?
Turn that up, Gametime.
Hey, what's up? You know me, I'm just sitting up in my room and I have a question for you. How often do you find yourself getting lost in your thoughts? It's been a minute since I have done a video. I think it was like back in December was my last video. And I just knew like, oh, I'm gonna take a couple weeks off and then I'll be back in January. But y'all, things just didn't go like I thought. You wanna know why? Well, it's the answer to where I've been. And where I've been is in my head, deep in my head. I have been blessed with a lot of opportunities, but with those opportunities have, come more work and more of my time to complete these different tasks. And I'm super grateful for all of it. But I found that I started to get overwhelmed. And with being overwhelmed, I was really getting deep in my head with criticism and overthinking and self-doubt, all of that, okay? And this is just me being transparent, right? But thankfully, I have grown to be more in tune with myself and more aware of when things are spiraling and when I'm not just doing my best, and how that might be interfering with everything else. And because of that, I went to therapy. Now this right here would be a great spot for an ad, because y'all, I started using BetterHelp. And if they were sponsoring these series, it would just be perfect. But anyway, yes, I started going to therapy and it's helping me. And we're talking a lot about self-compassion and negative self-talk and just all of the things, right? But I wanted to bring that question to you today because I know I ain't the only one who deals with all of that. So I want to share 3 signs of when we're in our head, okay? And the first sign is one that I do well, okay? It's overthinking. Just call me queen of OT. But if you find yourself constantly replaying scenarios or conversations or events, that's overthinking, right? And when it starts to spiral and it's a consistent cycle that you can't stop, it's gotta be addressed. The second sign is that negative self-talk. Like, how are we talking to ourselves? Is it always something negative? Like, look at you. Why did you do that? Girl, you don't know what you're doing. I don't even know why they asked you. Now, I'm not going to say that this is how I talk to myself. But I am going to say there's some negative self-talk that goes on, and I know I ain't the only one, okay? So, when we constantly find ourselves just being super negative, super critical, it's got to be addressed. And then the third sign, feeling disconnected. Like, all of a sudden, we're just not as engaged with people that we interact with. Or we're not as engaged with, daily tasks that we do. Or participating in certain activities. We're just completely withdrawn from situations. That is another sign we are in our head. Now, let me just clarify. It's not always a negative thing when we are in our head. It gets negative, right? And it gets more challenging when we find ourselves in our head constantly. It's a never-ending cycle. And that's when we got to hit the pause button and really, really get in tune with ourselves to figure out what's going on. And that's what I did. That's what I'm doing. And that's me encouraging you to do the same thing. As we continue aging, I've said this before and I'll continue to say it. Our mental health should be on the top 5 list of our priorities. It influences how we see ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to others, how we just navigate throughout society. It shapes our aging experience. So tell me, what are some of the things that you do to bring yourself clarity or peace when you're in your head? Let a girl know, because I'm sitting up in my room waiting to hear from you. Hey!